Hello guys and welcome back to the F1 Tube YouTube channel, and my word, F1 came back with a bang. What a season opener we have just witnessed. There were thrills, spills, drama, controversy and some shocking results, but let's have a look at the provisional race result. Valtteri Bottas converted pole into victory. He headed home Charles Leclerc in P2 and Lando Norris in P3. Lewis Hamilton finished in 4th following a time penalty. Carlos Sainz in 5th, Sergio Perez 6th, then came Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Sebastian Vettel rounding out the top 10. With all the drama that ensued, Williams were so close to points, but Nicholas Latifi will have to settle for P11. Then your retirements from this race: Daniil Kvyat, Alex Albon, Kimi Raikkonen, George Russell, Romain Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. During the race, Valtteri Bottas soaked in all pressure and went on to take a brilliant win. He started on pole and dominated proceedings, then came the safety car, and I think it actually benefited the Finn because Hamilton, who was about 4 seconds behind, was going so much quicker than him, and it seemed like Hamilton, this was going to be his race to lose, but Bottas managed his tyres once he pitted under the safety car. He got the restart spot on, and although there were gearbox troubles, he saw through to the end of the race and took the first win of 2020. Lewis Hamilton started 5th following a grid drop, and in all honesty, it was spot on. Hamilton deserved that grid penalty. It was clear in my mind. He was up to 2nd by the halfway distance following Max Verstappen's retirement and his overtakes on Lando Norris and Alex Albon. Then came out the safety car, and I said Bottas, it helped him, and it definitely didn't help Hamilton because it killed all the momentum he had on that soft tyre because he was so much quicker than his teammate. But from there on in, he never really troubled Bottas. His teammates soaked in all the pressure and Hamilton followed him home. But he made contact, did Lewis Hamilton, with Alexander Albon, and that's where the controversy comes to. You've all seen the incident, I guess, and here's my take on it. Initially, I thought Albon was being way too optimistic, but looking back at it, the more I think it is Lewis Hamilton's fault. The issue I have with this is that on lap 1, Hamilton went round the outside of turn 4 where the incident occurred, and Albon pushed him wide and Hamilton had to back off. Albon goes round the outside of Hamilton. Hamilton doesn't concede and they make contact. The thing is, Albon was ahead and Hamilton didn't concede. I don't think there was a lot Hamilton could do because he's not just going to back off. He's a racing driver at the end of the day, but he did understeer into Albon, who was ahead. So I think the 5-second time penalty was probably correct. Ferrari somehow finished P2 with Charles Leclerc. They had no pace at the beginning of the race, but when they put that medium compound of tyre on towards the end of the race, their pace was lightning. Sebastian Vettel's race, well, he finished in P10, but it could have been a lot better had he not come to blows with Carlos Sainz following a safety car restart. What a day for McLaren. They have dampened all the rumours of Racing Point being best of the rest because both in qualifying and the race, McLaren have finished ahead of the Pink Panthers. Lando Norris finishes on the podium in 3rd place. I couldn't be happier for the guy. He started 3rd, he dropped off because the McLaren was never going to compete with the Merc and Red Bull. He did keep Albon honest, but the safety car came out and Perez was then in the battle with Norris. Norris had to concede a position to Perez. Then I think what got Norris a podium was the fact that he had to defend from Carlos Sainz and did so brilliantly and successfully, and that enables him to close back on Perez, who ran out of tyres by the end, and Norris's final lap to get him on the podium, setting the fastest lap in the process. Brilliant job from him. He put everything into that lap, and that is a thoroughly deserved 3rd place. Carlos Sainz, I mean, he hasn't been Norris's equal this weekend. I think that's pretty safe to say, but a P5 is still an excellent result. Sergio Perez P6, where he started, I mean, he did have a chance to take a podium, but like I said, his tyres fell off at the end and he couldn't keep Leclerc and Norris behind. But 8 points for him in the first race of the season isn't too bad. Lance Stroll could have finished in the top 8, I believe, had it not been for an engine failure which put him out of the race. Pierre Gasly's performance was so quiet, but he's come away with 6 points, so fair play to the Frenchman. He has been superior in terms of pace and performance over his Russian teammates this weekend, and, 6 points on the board for Gasly in P7, not too bad. Daniil Kvyat, he could have scored a couple of points, but he retired late on with some kind of puncture or suspension related issue. Daniel Ricciardo was forced into an early retirement, and he has been so unlucky this weekend. He had to back off following Bottas's off yesterday, which definitely cost him a few places in my opinion, and to date he could have scored a few points, so unlucky for Ricciardo. Esteban Ocon, 8th place, 4 points. That's something for Renault to build upon, but it definitely could have been more. Considering Alfa Romeo's pace this weekend, I think 2 points is a good result. Antonio Giovinazzi scored those 2 points with a P9 finish. Meanwhile, Kimi Raikkonen had to retire with his right front wheel becoming dislodged from the car, so he had to retire. A scary incident, really, but yeah, I think Kimi could have got into the points also. To be honest, anyone could have got into the points today. It was such a crazy race, and Nicholas Latifi, P11 on debut. He did a very good job to keep the rest of the guys around him honest, but unfortunately the pace of the Williams just wasn't enough. George Russell did retire near the end of the race with some kind of failure. He could have scored points at the end of the day, but I think Williams can take positives out of this weekend. They are challenging their rivals. Red Bull, 0 points. Both drivers retiring from the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen was the first retirement from this race. I don't know the problem as of yet, but he was running in P2, and goodness knows where he could have finished come the checkered flag with all the craziness that this race produced. Alex Albon, like I said, came to blows with Lewis Hamilton. He was optimistic, and I have just seen something on Instagram which reflects what I said earlier. It was almost a carbon copy of the first lap battle between Albon and Hamilton, but Hamilton had to back off, so I don't know. Albon was unlucky in that context, but I don't know. I'm still probably going to lean on the side of Hamilton deserving the penalty, but you've got to feel for Alex Albon at the end of the day. He looked like he was on for a podium and even possibly a win, but Red Bull have come away from this race with nothing. And at Haas, it looks like that brake failures put both Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean out of the race. Driver of the day for me is Lando Norris, and driver of the weekend for me is Lando Norris. P4 in qualifying, started P3, and was mighty throughout. He put that bowls move on Sergio Perez, which was one of the most defining moments for him in the race, and that last lap to set the fastest lap of the race and get him onto the podium. What a commendable, valiant, brilliant effort it was from Norris, who got his first ever F1 podium. But guys, that is it for today's video. I apologise if it's a little informal and sounds a bit all over the place, but I just wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. F1 truly delivered on its first time out for the 2020 season. It's so great to have the sport back, and what a race we have begun the season with. Please like this video, comment down below what you thought of this race, and especially please subscribe to the F1 Tube YouTube channel for more content regarding the world of F1. The last week has been so good for this channel in terms of subscribers, and yeah, I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Let's keep the growth going. But until next time guys, see you later.